Okay, we're gonna start over again because well, I goofed up. I'm always goofing up. Yeah, I'm supposed to do a rant, and I'm supposed to stick to my rant is supposed to stick to a main point. So we're gonna try this again. Um, First off, those nincompoops on the border with the Canadian flags blocking economic stuff. They say they're for freedom, but this whole freedom thing is a self-indulgent argument. I think there's legitimate freedom, like if you're in the Warsaw Ghetto and the Nazis are trying to um, exterminate you because you're Polish or because you're Jewish or something. That's survival. But you want freedom. You want human freedom. You don't want to live under communism. You don't want to live under the Nazis. Um, that's fine. Nobody likes to have the government just totally totalitarian you, tell you what to wear, take your children off and put them in the Hitler Youth. That's awful, and all the hateful stuff that. I mean, the thing with the Nazis was they meant to kill people, which was really evil. Now, maybe the communists were even. I don't know if they're more evil. The road they just say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and part of the reason communism killed so many people is it's so impractical. Everybody's gonna do everything for nothing. It's like, well, you peel the motivation. Well, they're just doing those. They're just trying to push those vaccines on you for money. What happens when you just do things out of altruism? I mean, there are altruistic people, but that's why communism didn't work and so many people died in famines and had to go to gulags. It's because if you don't pay people, if you don't give them any sort of incentive, even if it's like, we'll let you keep half. If there's no incentive, people just won't work and nothing will get done. And in order to get anything done, you're going to have to stick a bayonet in them. And that's no good. So, gosh, I don't think it was the communism's intent to do bad. They really wanted to create this wonderful utopia. And the irony of that is, I think they ended up killing more people than the Nazis, who were just like, we hate people. I mean, we say we hate the Jews, but if you really look at them, they hated everybody. They even hated themselves. They hated Germans. They said they loved Germans, but look at Hitler. Started to lose the war. What did he say? And people were like freaked because he meant it. He says, the German people have let me down. The German people have let me down. They're losing the war. They don't deserve to live. Tear up everything. They don't. After this is all over, maybe there won't be any more Germans. We lost. We tried. We're not superior. We don't deserve to live. I also think Hitler was filled with extreme self-hatred. Now, it's not a good subject to talk about, and I probably shouldn't, but there was that rumor that he was like a quarter Jewish or something because his grandmother was a servant that worked in a wealthy Jewish household, and the little shiksa went up the hill and was pure and chaste, and she came down the hill knocked up, and there he goes, how'd she get pregnant? Nobody knows. So, I mean, and nobody does know, but she was, when she married, I think she was already, so nobody knows. Hitler might have been, but they kept that suppressed. And everybody goes, oh, well, that's just, don't say that because that's, he was a Nazi. But he didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes. And I think he definitely was full of nobody can be that. The worst kind of hatred is self-hatred. And the Nazis were just, they said they wanted to make a better world by just letting the strong and the pure and the best, only the best race would survive, and only the best of the best race would survive. You weren't even allowed to have a filling if you were in the SS were terrible people. They were rotten in their head. Their thoughts are just evil and inferior, just wicked people. But the thing is, with these extreme groups is it's never good enough. Someone's got a flaw. Someone in the other town's a little different. Like the Daleks are always, you're never pure enough, and you're always, it's a wonder they didn't kill more people, considering how angry and violent and hateful they were. But they only had like 15 years, and they didn't have a big country to do it in. Russia was huge, had like hundreds of millions of people. And how long was Stalin in power? Like, well, I mean, even Lenin before, Oh, hopefully you didn't hear that, but I had to do that. Oh, I'm lactose intolerant, and I drank some milk the other day. Oh, and I get old, and it's just like, ugh, nothing works. And it's like yeah, it's like getting old is embarrassing. You can't hold anything in anymore. How am I gonna make it to the bathroom? Hopefully that puddle is precipitation. Back to the subject. Anyways, long story short, freedom is important, but you got to have rules in a society. You got to pay taxes, and you got to pull together when there's something wrong. This whole thing about freedom, grow up. You got to wear a mask. You got to get vaccinated. The vaccine isn't going to kill you. They're not going to stick a tracking device in your head. Grow up. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Now, the valid argument about the economy is that the whole lockdown rigmarole is hurting people going back to work, inflation, because they're not producing enough, supply and demand. We spend so much money, it must have some effect on the inflation. And at first they're saying, inflation's no big deal. And even Krugman's coming around saying, I might have been wrong about this inflation thing. It's starting to hurt people. They got to, you know what? You spent a lot of money. You stimulated the economy. It's like even if it's like you should stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Drink fluids. That's good. You can die from drinking too much, even too much of a good thing. Sugar, alcohol. Well, not alcohol. Not that alcohol is a good thing, but it makes you feel good, and then it makes you vomit and poop in your pants and have an accident, and you have to go in your neighbor's bushes, and the neighbor's dog bites you, and you fall asleep, and the police come, and that's not a good thing. Definitely, trust me, it's not a good thing. So everything in moderation. What was I talking about? Oh, too much of a good thing. Too much freedom, not enough freedom, too much water. Oh, stimulating the economy. Yeah. Too much stimulation, I think, it's like we're going to stimulate ourselves into, just a break. Enough of the stimulation. Enough. They're concerned about the economy and their jobs. That's legitimate because that's important. It's like, how did Singapore? They're back. See, that's the thing. Their economies are back because they were very obsessive about dealing almost fascistic. Almost, I would say, yeah, they go too far. They just even in Europe, the lockdowns. We think we had it bad. Oh boy, were they? And they were rioting too. Nobody likes it, and everybody's mad. I get that. But they're blocking, and now they can't make cars. They're hurting the economy by doing this stupid thing. Now they say that a lot of Democratic governors, they're ending the wearing the mask and in schools, and shutting some venue down and requiring the vaccine passports and the masks and a lot of stuff people don't want. They're putting an end to all that. And the scientists are saying, no, wait a minute, it might be a little bit too early. Now, do you honestly think that scientists are doing this because they want power or they want to sell masks or something? This is some profit-driven, power-driven thing that they want to control you, and there's something poisonous in the masks, and the vaccines are going to kill you, or they're just trying to make money. Everybody tries to make money. Everybody's making money. Can you do that to an excess? Yeah, it's like, can you be too greedy? Can you be too mercenary? Well, yeah, look at drug dealers and child pornographers. They're just doing it for the money, right? That's bad. But what about people that bake your bread? They're doing that for profit. What about people that make your car, or the dentist that puts the fillings in your teeth, or when you've got those? You ever watch the pimple popper on Oh, it's so gross. Why do people do that? It's not just me. But Sandra Lee, God, she's 50. She's good looking. She's got a good plastic. She must have a plastic surgeon because she looks really good for 50. Sandra Lee, and she's a very good doctor. People come in with these because I was looking at it because I've got the skin thing from the diabetes. My skin's dry and it itches, and I get these patches on my head, and it's embarrassing, scratching. I was thinking maybe I can go on and figure like lotion, put lotion on my head, and I put isopropyl alcohol because I thought it was infected. It's not. It's not infected. It's not infected, Bill. What it is you should. It's just dry and it's nervous. You're being nervous. So I got this diabetes medicine. I rub it into my head and on these sores because my skin gets dry, and I scratch it to the point of distraction, and then it's embarrassing because I'm covered. Looks like I'm a leper or something like that. So, but the people that make these medications that help me keep me alive, they're doing it for a profit. Now, am I a libertarian saying everything should be told? It has to be regulated. Like everything in moderation, you got to have like some sort of referee, and you got to make sure the referee is honest. It's not easy. You got to have a referee that looks at all this stuff and says, make sure that product's safe. And then even then, you could be too careful because someone's dying. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, we got to make sure that this product doesn't kill you. I'm dying. Can you see? I'm taking my last breath. I won't be alive in a year. I don't have a year. Give it to me now. I can take the risk. It's so like you gotta. Life is a tightrope. You got to take care of the environment. But what are we going to be running around naked and eat bark off of trees and live in teepees? Not that there's anything wrong with living in a teepee. From what I understand, Daryl Hannah has a very nice teepee. The Native Americans lived in those teepees for thousands of years. They worked out fine. But I mean, is that what we're going to have to do? Is we're going to have to go back to living like that? And average life expectancy 25? Maybe. But trust me, the world population, if there's a cataclysm like that, is going to go from 7.6 billion. 10,000 years ago, well, they don't know, but they figure that the population of the human, the naked monkey population of the world, us, Homo sapiens, I guess the Neanderthals were gone by 10,000 years ago, was about 10 million people, the population of Sweden. So trust me, if in the modern industrial evil world that what do they call? What was that guy? Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. He was an anarcho-primitivist. I don't even know if they're considered left-wing because they just wanted. They're like Luddites. We're going to go back to living like the Amish did. Billions of people will die. Okay, without modern medicine. Have you ever seen an iron lung machine? And even that's technology. The immune system might be amazing, and the fact that it'll keep us alive for 30 or 40 years. Polio, diphtheria, rubella, the bubonic plague, scarlet fever. People used to die of all kinds of horrible, god-awful diseases. People would have 10 kids, and maybe 2 of them might live to be an adult. That's popping a lot of kids out. And the poor woman, she's all out of shape. I mean, think of what that does to your body. And a lot of them died in childbirth because, it takes all the nutrients out of your body. You're exhausted and you're working and people didn't have enough to eat. Trust me, you should be glad you live now. God only knows what it's going to be like in 10 years when this breaks down. But you are at the tail end of a golden age. I lived through a golden age, the 60s, when the vast majority of Americans, I know it wasn't good for everybody, had a house and a car. And when I look back, I mean, I just took it for granted that people lived that way. We, as middle-class people whose parents were poor peasants, lived better than the European royalty or the Grand Poobah of China lived 50, 100 years before that. The vast majority of people lived like kings. We had cars, we had TVs, we had Walkmen, and then we had the MP3 players and all the amazing things. This is going to go down as a golden age, and I really don't think, I think they're right. The cars are at least going to, oh God, what's that? I messed up with the Ozempic. Our cars are going to have to get smaller. Maybe we'll take public transportation, live in littler houses, and use the wind power and the solar. And I say we go with the nuclear too. We can make that safe because look at the French. They're building more nuclear power plants. France, I've been there. It's clean. Everybody says France is dirty. It's not. The air is clean. The streets are clean. There's no soot. And you know why it's clean? Nuclear power. There's a little steam that runs off. Now they've got to bury that waste out in the desert in Africa. But okay, I know that sounds racist, but there are parts of Africa off in the desert where nobody lives. Not even lions and tigers and little desert rats. I mean, there's just nothing out there. Nothing can live. They're like little twigs rolling around. And then the French bury it in the ground like 5 miles down. So there might be a little residual radiation, they think. But they're very careful. They put it in these little. The French are. See, the French are artistic people. They're like the Italians, very creative. It's like, look at their cars and everything. They're a little temperamental, but they're very innovative people. And so, you know, they found a way to make that nuclear stuff work. At any rate, this whole freedom thing, oh, we want freedom. These people are flying Nazi flags. They want freedom. They want to overthrow a democratic government so that they can kill everybody. They can kill the blacks. They can kill the Jews. They can kill the feminists. They can kill fat old white men on Social Security because they had a stroke and they had to retire early and their pension wasn't quite enough. So, yeah, some freedom. Those people aren't for freedom. Look, democracy's not perfect, but if you look at the studies that show that the countries that are the freest are also the most democratic. You rarely find a country run by a dictator that people are freer in. Not really. Maybe your taxes might be a little lower, but there's more to being free than not paying. Often, paying taxes in a lot of countries, you get health care and education, public transportation, Social Security. It makes society more stable, too. You don't have angry, starving, homeless people trying to break into your house and eat your cat and rape your gerbil or whatever angry poor people do. All right, let's move on to the other one. And maybe I should have done this one first because it's really the most important. Yeah, the trucks on the border, you know. You know what? You had your 5 days. You had your fun. You got to disrupt everything and let everybody know how angry you were. It's not like you were gunned down with tanks. But enough is enough, okay? You had your say. You had your say. You had your 5 days. Enough. Go home. If you don't go home, I think they should confiscate your truck and arrest you. Maybe they could give you your own little island. I mean, island just big enough that you could drive your trucks around in a circle. And you can have your own little protest. It's like, I don't know where you're going to get your gas or your money because no one's going to pay you to drive your trucks on the little island. But maybe you could just like live in your truck. You know, you can live in the back bed or something, and stick a windmill on top, or maybe solar panels, and have a solar truck. Get Jeff Bezos, well, not Bezos, who's the other one? Elon Musk to electrify your truck because they're making electric trucks now. You can have an island of electric trucks and have your little protest. Okay, now let's move on. Or should I make 3 videos? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to make 3 videos.